All right, so I'm going to be making the paludarium. The two sides of the paludarium are going to be mirror. I thought that would increase the idea of depth on either side, but then I'll keep the front, the back, and the top glass. So it'll make it look bigger, that's the idea. It might end up being tacky, I'm not sure, but I think it'll work. So I want to make an apology before I start this video. It's going to switch between horizontal and vertical, and it's my second video that I made, so I apologize in advance. I'll never do that again going forward. They're all going to be horizontal like this, okay? And I'll be using this glass cutter. You can fill the bottom. You can take this little orange part off and fill it with oil. And the very tip of this is a little wheel that is coated in diamond, and you run it across the glass. It makes a score on the glass, and then the glass can be easily cut. And this is a tool to break the glass. So you put the glass in here, tighten it down, and what it does is the metal part pushes up, the rubber part's pushed down, and the glass will break right down the middle. But you don't always need that. Sometimes the glass just breaks perfectly fine. So I just have 3 more pieces, 1, 2, 3 of mirror, and then this part's gonna be glass in the front. I'm gonna have a top, but I haven't figured out what yet. I think it's gonna be plexiglass, so I can just kind of easily take it off and remove it. It'll not be heavy, but I can do that later. It's not important right now. A property that is unique to glass is that almost all of the strength of glass is kept in the surface, whereas other things like steel, you know, the strength of steel runs all the way through. Not glass. Glass, if you disturb the surface of glass, that's it. Becomes extremely brittle. Laid down a sheet on the table, and I have a real problem here. Didn't really think about this. My table is too small. Okay, so normally you would want all 5 pieces on the table so that you can put them up all at the same time and not move it around, and well, we'll see how it goes. But what I'm gonna do is just silicone the corners here, the edges in between the glass and the tape. And the tape is there for when the silicone is still fresh, but all the pieces are in place. I'm gonna remove the tape. It'll make a clean cut against the silicone, and we won't have silicone mess to clean up as much with a razor or whatever else. So, well, I did it. At one point I pulled the sheet back to move the whole thing back so I could put the front on, and it all kind of disjointed. So because of that, I added a lot of extra silicone at all the joints, and hopefully that'll be enough to keep this thing waterproof. But I'm seeing here in the corner kind of an issue Doesn't want to show up on video, but looks like it's detached a little bit. And I just washed my hands and they're a mess. So I'm not sure what I want to do. But the next thing is just to take the tape off. Tape off. That corner was kind of problematic, I think, so I added a bunch more silicone. But now it is just dry for 24 hours. You can see the two sides are mirrors. I think it's going to add depth. The bottom is a mirror. My plan is actually to have about this much water and potentially add fish or aquatic life. I'm not sure yet. But I don't know how the mirror on the bottom is going to work with fish. They might not like it. They might not like the mirrors on the sides either. I just thought of that. But I think it'll add depth. It'll make it look larger. It'll make it look cool. The back is glass, but the back I'm going to have almost all Hygrolon or moisture wicking fabric. And yeah, and then the top, I still need to figure out what I'm going to do, but most likely what I'm going to do is just get a piece of plexiglass or a piece of glass, cut to size, put on top, and then it's actually going to have a hinge so that I can open the front like this and put it on the top whenever I'm working on it. But for now, finished. And we'll be adding the escaping materials tomorrow. Stay tuned. Actually, a counterintuitive trick to making this stuff, the silicone, cure faster, and you'll see this on the label, but it's actually to increase the moisture, the humidity. The reason that is actually also counterintuitively is that water will boil faster if there is a higher content of oil in the atmosphere or non-polar solvents in the atmosphere, and the inverse is true for non-polar solvents. So things that are the volatile organic compounds, the VOCs you always hear about that are not good for your health, those will actually evaporate quicker when there's more moisture in the air. It's called the zeotropic effect. You can look it up on Wikipedia if you want. But I'm just spraying the inside of the container. It's not going to really make a difference, but when I do work on this tomorrow, the added moisture will actually, add a little bit of a benefit to the curing time. You don't want to actually put water on it. You don't want the water to actually get to the silicone. You just want the humidity in total to be higher. And so you'll see plumbers or the label of silicone will say that in moist environments like a bathroom, the silicone will actually cure quicker. So here it is so far. You can see there's not clear water right now. I'm not really sure what I want to do with the water. I'm going to just do that last. But probably going to put some substrate in the bottom, 1/4 of an inch, and try and get some lily pads or something like that. Anyway, not the focus right now. Focus right now is above water line. I've got the drip in the back now. Pretty thorough through the whole thing. Once that gets totally wet, it's gonna stop dripping, I believe, and just kind of soak through. You can see I can just kind of get it to, get it to behave nicely, like a drip wall. So yeah, now what I'm doing is I have my moss smoothie. Where'd it go? Here I just ground up some moss, let it soak overnight, and then put it in a blender, and I'm just gonna paint it on the remaining fabric. And this is my prototype with pretty blue foam, but as you can see, that has worked pretty well. This is about 2 months old now, I think, and I'm gonna transfer these micro orchids out. I'm gonna keep the sundew in here. It's doing so well. It is really happy, so I'm just gonna leave it there. But yep. So here is the current project. So here's the finished product. It's about 2 months in now. I don't have the light on because it's nighttime. But you can see I have a nice folding entrance. Inside we have a lot of moss, a lot of carnivorous plants, a lot of aquatic, frog bit, so forth, duckweed, and drip wall is doing alright. I'm gonna have to add more moss. But for the remainder of the video, got what not to do when making this. So enjoy.